My name is Peter Gendron. I'm also throwing my hat in the ring for Josephine County Commissioner, position 1. I'm 44. That makes me the minority report candidate for now, but I've been in Josephine County with my wife raising our family for half of my life, actually. We got here in the mid-90s, came to Oregon, had to float around Oregon a little bit, spent some time down in southern western Josephine County, finally landed in Sunny Valley. We've been there for 20 years now raising our family. We're homeschoolers, as was just indicated in conversation. I identify as a Christian conservative and as a constitutionalist. What those words mean to different people these days seems to be largely dependent on where they get their media from. I rely on the classical, literal interpretations of those words. Our kids, as homeschoolers, started taking Hillsdale College level courses when they were 10 to 12 years old. I very much echo the sentiments, actually, of our previous two presenters this evening on many topics. I'm looking at Josephine County from a point of view where, from over 20 years of my following politics here, one of the things that we have classically is a failure of our Board of County Commissioners to manage growth to the expectations of our citizens. In fact, I can go back to a university report from 20 years ago detailing the housing that we were going to need developed, and then another one from 10 years ago. Even with the housing collapse and the economic collapse that happened in 2008, Josephine County never actually started to develop again. In fact, we were behind on development when that crisis happened. As has been alluded to already, yes, my historic focus on politics has been from the cannabis lens. I currently serve as the elected president of the Oregon Sun Growers Guild. It's the largest organization in the state. I'm beginning my third year as president in that position, and it's actually kind of unique in that it's the only elected position like it in the entire country. So my experience in bringing myself into Josephine County politics is I've been working with our city councilors, with our county commissioners, and possibly more importantly with people at the state level for years. I don't need any introduction at the OLCC or the Oregon Health Authority. I don't need any introduction at the Department of Agriculture or at our Justice Department. I don't need any introduction at the governor's office, by which I've been appointed to serve on state committee work. I think this is actually crucial for Josephine County, and it's core to the reasons that I'm running. Simply put, we don't have anybody else who's running who has the level of experience, both with our state legislature in Salem and with the bureaucracies based out of Portland and elsewhere. We don't have a historically terrific relationship with Salem. In fact, you could even go so far as to say that in the 10 or 15 years of recent history, our relationship with Salem has been relatively antagonistic. We're a relatively poor county with a relatively small population and a relatively low tax rate, and Salem doesn't really seem to have much use for us. In fact, right now, the main thing that's actually set me back the last couple of weeks is all the work that I've been doing at the legislature, because according to them, we're a source of cannabis diversion. All evidence to the contrary notwithstanding, that's something that I'm working with the Federal Attorney General's office on resolving without having to raise taxes on more people in this county. And I'm going to agree with previous sentiments that an inordinate amount of time has been spent in the last couple of years discussing cannabis cultivation, when in fact about 1% of our total county's population is going to wind up as owners of those businesses. But one of the reasons that we have spent on that discussion so much time is because you're talking about what's likely to be 10 to 15% of the county's workforce in the next 2 years. That is a really substantial economic impact, and I believe that the county deserves somebody in the commissioner's position that understands the duties of the job, that has developed relationships with the state agencies, that has a working relationship with our existing state legislators and federal legislators, and that has an understanding of what is likely to be the next most pivotal industry for our county. This is part of the future, like it or not. The question is, how are we going to manage it? And that's a major focus, and this is something that was also touched on in various capacities. Managing growth. There are two things that a government can do to get more revenue. They either raise revenue on the existing tax base, or number two, they increase the tax base. There's no question that we're 4,000 housing units behind right now, and there's no question that we have the ability to build because we have a 99% rental occupancy rate. What is unfair to our county right now is that the commissioners are not managing the people that are in charge of economic growth and development, that are supposed to be benefiting the county as a whole from their salaries. That's the direction that I'm looking to Josephine County to move in the future, is managed growth. Thank you for your time.